Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and The Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for spring trolling with expert wireline installation and a full selection of mojos, plugs, and bunker spoons.
I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine with our Memorial Day weekend forecast. And here at Chestnut Neck Boatyard and Marina, and as you can tell, great boat shop and tackle shop. They just opened their brand new location. It's been that many years since Sandy hit us, and it's kind of surprising. I'm sure you know quite a few individuals and businesses. It's taken a little while to rebuild after Sandy, but Violet and crew here at Chestnut Neck have just done something extraordinary. Come on over. You got to make sure to check it out right here in Port Republic on the Mullica River. The restaurant here is opening this weekend. And the other thing, of course, we found out since Sandy, we talked about it not too long ago, I found a little bit of a clam bite back behind Little Egg. Haven't had that in a couple of years. Also, the Mullica River here, still holding some good fish, and even at this time as well. We spoke to Gary Adair several times in the last few weeks. He had Kirsten Holloway out eeling, sunny day eeling here on the Mullica River, and putting some striped bass on the boat. It seems, of course, ladies rule. We always talk about that. Katie Barron, down in the Delaware, chunking up some good-sized striped bass while fishing with Colin Fitzpatrick recently. Now, Colin tells me not a lot of fish out there, but the fish they're getting down on Delaware Bay on the chunk bite right now, big striped bass. And it'd be nice to find out if more of those stripers post-spawn find their way down the Delaware River into Delaware Bay in the next several weeks and eventually join that coastal migration. Because, of course, we do have some giant stripers out front. But before we show you some 50s and even close to 60, let's talk about the big story this week, of course, is summer flounder. The fluke season starts as of Thursday, May 25th. Now that is the word we have from the state of New Jersey. A lot of questions this week because the ASMFC throwing a little bit of a hissy fit saying they want to throw New Jersey out of compliance. But as far as we know at this point, Thursday going into the Memorial Day weekend, it's 3 at 18 inches here along the Jersey coast. Don't forget, you'll have that 2 at 16-inch size limit at Island Beach State Park. It's going to be 3 at 17 down on the Delaware Bay shore. That means that on both sides of the Delaware, it's a 17-inch size limit. Don't forget, you've got 4 fluke on the Delaware side, 3 on the Jersey side. So until you hear otherwise, right now we are in place with our summer flounder regulations. Of course, black sea bass opens up this weekend as well. That kicks off as of Friday and takes us through a spring run. 10 fish, 12.5 inches this weekend and on through the spring run here in New Jersey. Don't forget, you have 15 fish in Delaware, and that black sea bass season has already been underway. Now, let's get on to those trophy stripers because there are some real monsters, and not just for the boats, but the biggest striper that I know of that was weighed in for the 2017 season was this week. It was taken on the beach, mid-island at Long Beach Island, a 57.4-pound striper on chunk bunker for Art Ermanock. And he was fishing mid-island, checked into Fisherman's headquarters earlier this week, so that's nice to hear about some of those big stripers along the beach. We've also got some big stripers in at Brigantine as well. The Brigantine Jetty produced this week on a chunk bait as well for Tim McKenna, just shy of 50 pounds. He brought that into Riptide Bait and Tackle, also weighed it in for a cash prize over at Absecon Bay Sportsman Center. Good fish, though. Moving, you've got them in Brigantine. A lot of smaller fish here in the back in the areas of Little Egg and Great Bay. But from Barnegat, from Long Beach all the way up to Long Branch, plenty of big stripers turning on the troll just in time for the Lbi Striper Cup. The Lbi Cup is this weekend out of Beach Haven. A march of 50-pounders in local shops, particularly in the Barnegat area, the Barnegat Inlet area, including Lacey Marine. Here's a recognizable name for you. Ed Plichta had a 54.4-pound striper on a spoon. So definitely those trollers are getting it done on the Majas and the Mojos and the Stretches and the Rapala X-Rap Magnums. Of course, you can also get into some of those bunker schools and Livelining. The fishing is turning on as far as those trophy stripers from the coast all the way out to the 3-mile line. Ed, of course, as you know, he's a consistent Dreamboat contestant for the Fisherman magazine, a subscriber who's gotten into quite a few bluefish in the mix with those stripers in the last few years. Another recognizable name on that Dreamboat leaderboard is Bill Collins. And Bill just had a 27-inch, 6.91-pound weakfish at Avalon Hodgepodge. That's where it was weighed in. We're finding out more of those weakfish being brought in from behind the Sea Isle and behind the Avalon area throughout Cape May County, up into this area as well. And if you read the May edition of the Fisherman magazine, we introduced you to Bill, and Bill talked about using those mirror lures on some of those big weakfish that he consistently gets in Dreamboat contention. Also spoke with Frank Rosinski in that article. He likes the pink plastics, the pink zooms, which is one of my favorites for those tiderunner weakfish. With the one fish bag limit and that one fish per category rule this year in the Dreamboat Dreamboat leaderboard, it's important to think about some of those weakfish and what's inside those weakfish. Frank shares this cool video of what's inside those big, fat tiderunners this time of year. Check it out.
Caught some weekies this morning. This one took it in the gill and she bled out. Felt a little guilty keeping her, but she wouldn't go right again. So I just wanted to make a little example and show people how many eggs this isn't even a really big weakfish. And you can see how many little eggs she has in those roe sacs. And there's quite possibly 1 million eggs in these 2 sacs. We'll try eating them and see how. I've never had it before, but I hear it's good. But this is why we let them go. That's a lot of little weekies that could have been.
Now, if you want to know more about those weakfish, you might want to check out Frank's Facebook group. It's called Wonderful World of Weakfish. Go over to Facebook, look up Wonderful World of Weakfish, you'll find out more about it. Now, also arriving to spawn this time of year are those drum. Some really big drum from the coral beds on the Delaware side of Delaware Bay on up to off the villas in New Jersey. Selena Green, 2-time pool winner this past weekend aboard the Miss Chris. So there's some big boomers going on right now. Memorial Day weekend, a perfect opportunity for you to score with some of those big black drum. Of course, the bluefish continue abound throughout the state of New Jersey and also along the Delaware coast as well. Rick Mariano checked in with us this week. He brought a 26-incher home to clean in the kitchen. My wife hates it when I do this, so good for you, Rick. Way to get that one done. There are also, of course, in addition to some of those cocktails and bigger choppers, you've got some real Dreamboat bluefish out there. Nick Hanacheski was on the beach in Lavallette over the weekend and shows that we still have some of those monster blues coming in, picking up chunk baits. Obviously, you can throw some lures at these fish, but plenty of big choppers. Many party boats now are starting to jig for those blues and finding out, especially the Central and North Jersey fleet, they're getting on some of those night blue fishing trips. So you might want to take a look at that. Of course, a lot of the party boats throughout the state of New Jersey, they're going to turn on to fluke and black sea bass this weekend. And it is a great weekend for getting down to the shore and enjoying that. Of course, it's also, if you're at the shore, it's a great weekend to get away from the shore, maybe escape into the country. I know a lot of folks love to get up there for that 3-day weekend, enjoy the trout fishing. Plenty of freshly stocked trout in the Northwest Jersey streams. Jen Wong lets us know there's plenty of trophy rainbows up there as well. Now, if you want some even additional quiet when you've got that good weather window, directly offshore, all the way offshore, right? We've got our first bluefin reports from Hoffman's Marina over the weekend. Jimmy Krauser and crew of Tashtego, they brought in the first bluefin tuna of the 2017 season. It's only a matter of time before more of those offshore guys start looking for the bluefin to arrive. Also hearing of a couple of thresher sharks, and it's that time of year again too. Don't forget, we've only got a couple of weeks before shark tournament season gets underway at the Jersey Shore. In fact, the first tournament is the South Jersey Tournament. South Jersey Shark Tournament gets underway June 7th through 10th. So the threshers, the makos, they're on the way, they're out there. And we've got plenty of opportunity for this 3-day weekend. But while you're out there enjoying the stripers, the fluke, the black sea bass, the drum, whatever it is, don't forget, take time to remember what this 3-day weekend is all about. Say a prayer and give thanks to those who gave everything to defend this great nation of ours. God bless the USA. And this weekend, catch them up, my friends. We'll see you next week at thefisherman.com.
Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple species subscriber-only fishing competition. the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and The Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for spring trolling with expert wireline installation and a full selection of mojos, plugs, and bunker spoons.